I want to ask you a question of how do you learn? And more importantly, have you ever thought about how you learn?
Utilize your online resources. For me, organic chemistry tutor is like a third parent for me. Like he has helped me so much throughout my life with chemistry, with math, and everything like that.
I rewrite my notes right after class when it's like still fresh in my mind, because my notes before, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but that's gibberish to me. I can't understand anything that I just wrote there. Whereas if I spend time to actually clean it up, then I get it again. And doing that right after class, it helps also ingrain these topics into your head and really you're essentially learning it twice. Once with the professor, then once more with you. Obviously, these are not two of the same notes, because as soon as I rewrite the note, I delete the old one. But this is before I ever did this sort of technique, and you can see the difference.
If you have a writing heavy class, like this is from biomedical ethics, I really don't have time to handwrite it out as much as I love to write my notes by hand. So this is where I think it's okay to type it up. However, if you have a class like this, don't copy paste from any text that they give you. Don't just write word for word what the professor is saying, because that's not active. You're not actively taking any notes. So for all of these, I do highlights, I change it by topic, and write it in language that I can understand. Sometimes the language that a textbook uses, if you reread it, you still don't understand what's going on. But if you take the time to understand what the text says, and then you put it in words that if you look back to, you know what it says, I think that's a good active way to do it, even if you're typing it up. For problem-based and drawing-heavy classes, this is organic chemistry, but I also use this for math as well. I use a tablet, so that's my written notes. It helps keep it in my head, and I try to organize it spatially so that if I look back, I can see step by step what I did, which is also what Olaf's notes look like. If it's a drawing-heavy problem-based, I would handwrite it as best you can and use colors so you can see. And for biology, which I consider the in-between, because you'll have textbooks with so much information and dense material, and you'll really have to take time to process it. So in this case, obviously I wouldn't make this during class because nobody has time to make those while a professor is talking. That I would take up some basic notes from what the professor said during lecture. Anything that he said or she said that wasn't on the slide or in the textbook but is something I want to remember, I will write that down. And then later when I go back, I will take diagrams from the textbook, paste them in, and make sure I understand what's going on in each step, which is why you can see I even drew it more simpler on one side, because if I look at the left, I might kind of understand what's going on, but I couldn't tell you in every single part exactly what's happening.